I am a football fan. I support my local team, the Potters, Dunfermline Athletic. I've been with them through thick and thin. I've seen us pumped 8-1 by Celtic and 6-0 by Rangers. But I've also seen us get valiant draws with Celtic and beat Rangers with some fantastic own goal, only to be beaten 4 times and get 2 draws. I've seen our boys play in Europe, only to draw with some Swedes and be beaten by the champions of Iceland. I've seen a bear sledging down a flight of stairs and driving a tank too. I had my season ticket for 8 years and even saw the depths of the First Division, but I also saw a big mad mental Martin Hardy power us back up in front of our 10,000 people. I even have some stupid headwear, but I'll be back because I can tell you one thing. I love Dunfermline, I do. I love Dunfermline, I do. I love Dunfermline, I do. Oh, Dunfermline, I love you. Well, as I've just shown you, I am a big football fan, but I think I'm going to take this wig off now because it is truly ridiculous. I'm going to talk a little bit about the whole Rangers saga, especially with them not being in the SBL fixture list now anymore. The thing is, I support one of the smaller teams, and the first thing that strikes me about the Rangers saga is that I know if a Dunfermline or a Hibs or a Dundee United or a St Mirren, if they had done the same things, if they had filled their taxes and end up in hard times, they would not get the same special treatment Rangers are getting. They would be left to die. At best, they would get bought over and be allowed to reapply for the 3rd division, like is what's supposed to happen in this situation. But unfortunately, I also sort of realise that Rangers are almost like the banks of Scottish football. They're too big to fail. They'll take too much of the game with it if they go out of existence entirely. And this is something that you see reflected a lot in the chairman's opinions. The chairmans are going to vote next month on whether to give Rangers, the Newco Rangers, entry into the SBL, and a lot of their statements are very non-committal, thinking about what's best for the club and listening to fans. The fans are all screaming, saying not to let them in, and the chairman know this and they want to follow their fans, but they just don't know if the club can afford it. Some of the clubs can, some of the clubs can't. It's as simple as that. Where's the TV deal going to go if there's no Rangers? That's something else we just don't know. There's so much speculation over these things that we just can't be sure of anything that happens, but there's also the feeling that they deserve to be punished. They've not only brought the game into disrepute, but they stole from the government. The money they apparently took in tax is something ridiculous. No, they're not exactly going to sort out the national debt. They could have built a school. They could have, performed numerous life-saving operations with that money. And instead, it's just gone into the pocket of greedy men at a football club. That's one of the biggest problems with this, is the fact that I haven't liked Rangers ever, because they have some of the most vile fans in Scottish football. Not all of their fans are, obviously. It's like any group of people, there's some idiots. Unfortunately, it's just in Rangers that you seem to see these idiots a lot more. All the sectarians sing, they don't exactly lend a great deal of sympathy towards the club, especially when they talk about boycotting games at other grounds. They're not doing themselves any favours. There's plenty of normal Rangers fans out there, normal as in, they aren't nutters and they don't sing sectarian songs, and, they just support the club. It's the club that it's their local team, it's the team they've grown up with because their fathers supported it and his father supported it, that sort of thing. That's fine, but just, you're so much more aware of the minority in Rangers, and you sort of think to yourself, why do they even deserve a football club? If there was to be no Rangers whatsoever, would they still latch onto a different team? Would they all latch onto the same team? Would they at least be spread out amongst other clubs back to supporting their local teams? Because that's one of the other things that always gets me about Rangers. There's so many Rangers fans in Fife and up the East Coast, in so many places that aren't Glasgow and aren't the Rangers part of Glasgow. It's of course entirely right that Club 12 is what's appearing on the fixtures list, because the new Rangers doesn't have entry into the SBL yet, and the old Rangers certainly won't be there because they no longer exist as a company. And don't think this is just a bitter Dunfermline fan wanting to be back in the SBL, because if we did go back into the SBL, we'd be utterly destroyed. If our team that's meant to be able to stay in the SBL gets relegated by 8 points, I think our team that's meant to have just about a chance of winning the First Division isn't going to do any better. It's just one of those things, trying to balance up what's good for the sport, which may well be just letting Rangers off scot-free, and balancing up the sense inside that justice just hasn't been done.